Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is Nick. Hope we're doing well. And today we're going to be talking about some early reviews going on for the Joker screening that just happened over in Venice. And this, to me, is screaming as to why I want to see this movie. Because there are people that are yelling and screaming about this film who are praising it, and then there are some that are being overly critical of it, and then there's others, like here on Time.com, and when was the last time Time Magazine was actually relevant, who are trying to make this something more than what it actually is, at least based on what we've been seeing and what we've been hearing. So it says, Joker wants to be a movie about the emptiness of our culture. Instead, it's a prime example of the emptiness of our culture. This is also someone who, last time I checked, because I was trying to find the article that was saying it, but I believe it was this one because it had the same opening line. It's official, with Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is a certified graduate of the Acme Academy of Dramatic Arts. You want acting, come and get it. And basically was trying to point out that this movie is an example of him overacting, saying that basically this woman was being critical of his performance because it was overacted. When was giving dramatic performance, when was giving dedicated performance, even if it's a film about the Joker, a bad thing? Why is that being criticized now? And why is it that you're trying to say it's about the emptiness of our culture, but in reality, it's just showing us why our culture is empty? Seriously, if you think that the American culture is empty, why don't you just get the hell out? Oh my God, you can't say that. You don't know who she is. You don't know where she's from. I know. I'm saying if you don't like it, leave. It's very simple. I mean, obviously it's not very simple, but honestly, if you hate it that much to the point where you have to bring it into a film criticism, when you have to bring it into a freaking review of a movie, then you should probably get out. You should probably leave. That's all I have to say about the damn Time article. Something that is a little bit more so than anything else. Allow ads on game. I don't want ads. Ads? Why do I want to give ads? No. Ads. I use ad blocker for a reason, people. I use it for a reason. But anyway, all I need is your headline anyway, because that's all I really care about when it comes down to it. And it's that James, Joker review, deeper, darker, and more disturbing than any other comic book movie to date. That is what I want to hear. That means that this movie is going to be unlike anything else. In an age that we live in where every superhero film is essentially the same, when every single Marvel film that comes out is a carbon copy of the other, just with different characters and shuffling around different desires, shuffling around different, things. I think that this is the type of movie that we need. We need a palate cleanser. We need something new. You want to know why so many people say that Logan is one of the greatest Wolverine films, if not one of the greatest superhero films? It's because it takes the character in a direction that is not the normal direction. It seems to me like Joker is doing the same thing, only now it's going to be from a villain's perspective. I really am excited for this, and I know there's some people, especially in the comments on the last Joker video I did, who said, I'm not that excited for it, and I'll wait for it to come out on streaming, or, I'll torrent it, or I'll do anything like that. And I thought to myself, okay, but I really honestly don't think you're giving the film much of a fair shot. I think that what you're doing is you're trying to read far too into it. You're trying to be like the person from Time Magazine trying to say, it's about the emptiness of our culture. I'm going to read too much into the damn movie instead of just looking at it as a movie. Instead of just looking at it as an acting performance. Instead of looking at it as Joaquin Phoenix taking every single actor in Hollywood to school by showing, yes, you can dedicate your time. You can dedicate a great performance. You don't have to be just a caricature of somebody in any movie. You don't just have to be a bland piece of wood, like in some movies in the MCU, for example. You don't have to do that. You can be something unique. You can be someone unique. And that's why I'm excited for this movie. And I know people are going to try and say, oh, well, you haven't even seen it yet. How can you know? And what happens if you see it and you hate it? If I see it and I hate it, I will tell you first. I will be the first to say, hey, I was wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. It happens because I'm human and we all make mistakes. But I think that it's a mistake for all of us to try and downplay the film, to try and say this film is going to be bad. And the only reason why we think it's going to be bad is because it's not telling the superhero, supervillain story in the way that we want. We've become the emptiness of our culture. No, spoiled maybe. I think spoiled is a word that you could probably use for the overall culture, but empty, not so much. There's a lot of richness to our culture, and to me, I think that this movie shows just that, because it shows that there are people in Hollywood that actually care about making a good artistic film and not just about telling a political account, not just preaching to people. The fact that you have critics coming out saying one thing and then others saying the complete opposite. For example, I mentioned this on the live stream last night, that there's been a bunch of people trying to say, oh my God, it's pro-incel culture. whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Obviously, they're taking a term that actually exists and are contorting it to their use, just like they like to use the term racist or sexist whenever the hell they want to. Someone doesn't agree with them, all of a sudden they can label them however it is that they want to, even though they honestly don't understand what those terms even mean. I cannot tell you how many times that I've been called an incel in the comments section, even though I'm a married man. I mean, seriously, like it's like they don't even know the terms that they're using anymore. That's why language is so important. But I look to this film, and I look to what Joaquin Phoenix is bringing to the character, and I look to the reviews for it, and all I can say is overwhelmingly people think it's one of the best acted films of the year with Joaquin Phoenix, and also no one knows what this film is. No one can define it. And when the critics are at a point where they can't all collectively come together and say, this is what the film is an anthem against 2016, the film is an anthem against the 2019 politics, the film is an anthem against this. The fact that you don't have critics coming together on that, and instead they're bashing heads. You have some that are like, oh my God, the acting's amazing. And then you have those idiots out there that try to politicize everything, and they're trying to make it their political moment. Aha! But they're not all on the same page. Instead, they're fighting each other. Instead, they're all saying complete opposite things. And the fact that you have this chaos going around is perfect for the Joker, since the Joker himself is rooted in this element of chaos. That's why one of my favorite portrayals of the Joker was Heath Ledger's, because chaos truly was his characterization, and Heath Ledger played it to perfection. It looks like we're going to have something a little bit different, a little bit unique to this character. But you know what? In 2019's films, in the history of film, we need characters like this. We need to show that you can tell a superhero, villain, hero story in non-conventional ways. That there are new ways of saying it. The fact that the vast majority of people, whether they love it or hate it, are saying it's one of the most disturbing films they've ever seen. Good. Give me a case study. Give me the diving into the deep depths of a character. That's what I want to see. Not everyone wants to see that. Some people just want to go to the theater, just want to see a Disney Marvel film, shove popcorn down their face and say, oh, look, there's explosions. And oh, look, I'm getting fan service. And oh, look, there was a political message. But hey, fan service is back. That's what they want. And hey, if that's what makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. But we need more films like this in Hollywood today. We need more films that are going to at least attempt to and seem to attempt to push the boundaries in new directions, or else guess what you're going to get? You're going to get an MCU, a DCEU, whatever it is you want to call it, that is static, stale, and eventually is just going to lead to an overall collapse. That's why films like The Joker seem to be so important to me. That's why I'm so excited for The Joker. That's why I have high hopes and even higher hopes now because of the disarray among critics. When the critics, as I said, when they cannot come together, especially trying to push a political point, that to me says everything I need to know about a film. It means that this film is likely free of identity politics because they're trying to write a narrative but can't, or at least can't agree to it. And at the very least, they can all agree that the acting in the movie is fantastic, the story is disturbing, and you know what? For a character like the Joker, we kind of need that. Anyway, I'm sorry for the passionate rant, but it really is something that the people being so critical of the film before it's even come out, I really honestly just think that the reasons why they're being critical of it are not really based in any sense of logic. Again, if you can say, hey, the trailers just haven't reached out to me, that's perfectly valid. You saying that a trailer doesn't reach out to you, that makes sense. You don't have to be interested in a movie. I'm not saying that your opinion's less valid, but for those that are trying to justify their opinion by trying to say, oh, that's just not what the character should be like, or oh, superhero films shouldn't be this way, or oh, MCU and DCU shouldn't be like that. To me, those are people that need to rethink things, because to me, it's those people that are leading to the end games. Soulless, plot hole-filled spectacle films that in the grand scheme of things won't mean a damn thing. That's why we're getting films like that now, because people will go and spend all the money making that film, the highest grossing film before adjusting for inflation of all time. Where films like The Joker, because of the fact it challenges conventions, because of the fact it goes against the typical norm, again, based on early reviews, doesn't get as much attention. People don't go to see it because people just want to be lazy. You know what? I would rather have more films that challenge the mind, challenge the way that we look at things, and also make us look at things in a different way. Again, a villain in a different perspective, a more mental perspective. I'd much rather that. A deeper film than just the crap we've been getting lately, the cookie cutter crap we've been getting lately. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Again, if you're someone that's not interested in this, I'm not calling you out. I'm merely calling out the people that are saying that they're not interested, but their justification for it is something that is just unfortunately leading to the disgusting current state of superhero movies where they're all just the same and it's all just complete and utter crap. And we're not going to get anything better until we start to support newer films. And you know what? Films that actually dive into the comic book realm and dive into the comic book universe and do it differently. You know what did it differently? Christopher Nolan. People might not want to admit that now, but Christopher Nolan was challenging conventions with his Batman movies. You know, we've gotten Logan, which also battled the conventions. And yet many people, comic book fans alike, and general normie fans alike, think that those are some of the best made films of all time. Joker seems to be in the same realm as that, and it's about time we start to wake up to that fact. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, smash the like button, give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.